It's a Minimalist Monday edition of Optimal Finance Daily, episode 61, Minimalist Finances and Budgeting, Part 1, by Joshua Fields Millburn of Minimalists.com.
Get ready to maximize your potential with Optimal Finance Daily, the podcast that brings you the best content in personal finance 5 days a week. Your optimal life awaits. Now here's your host, Dan Warren.
Hi everybody, welcome back to a brand new week of Optimal Finance Daily. I'm Dan, the guy who is not loving these weather changes we're having here in western Pennsylvania because I've come down with a nasty cold, as you might be able to hear. We've got 70-degree days, and then we've got snow flurries the next day, and this is just weird weather for mid-May, so forgive me if I sound just a bit under the weather this week. Anyway, today I'll be reading the first part of a two-part post from the Minimalists, but before we get into that, in less than 10 days, we'll be giving away a book by these very minimalists to a random person who is on our mailing list. So if you have not joined already, come on by oldpodcast.com, that's oldpodcast.com, and sign up for the newsletter there. Not only will you be entered to win the book each and every month, but you also get an automated Excel spreadsheet to track your income and expenses with a video tutorial to go along with it, and a lot more. All of it free. So again, you can simply visit oldpodcast.com or text the word financial to the number 44222. That's text the word financial to 44222, which is, of course, a speedier way to join. And now let's jump right in and start optimizing your life. Minimalist Finances and Budgeting, Part 1, by Joshua Fields Millburn of Minimalists.com. Ever since I wrote about leaving my corporate job, a lot of people have asked a lot of questions, many of which revolve around finances. What are you going to do to make a living? How are you going to pay your bills? What expenses do you still have? What expenses did you get rid of? How can I apply this to my life when I still have to deal with X and Y and Z? First, a note. Living a meaningful life has nothing to do with how much money you make. I used to make a lot of money. I don't make nearly as much now, not even close. And that's okay, because contribution and growth and cultivating your passions are more important. That said, we all need to pay the bills, right? I mean, we're minimalists, not communists, and minimalists aren't allergic to money. Money just isn't the primary focus of my life. Let's start with budgeting, how I manage expenses. As you can imagine, I like to keep it simple, so let's look at it in a way that will apply to anyone. Regardless of your income, you must spend less than you take in, otherwise the math doesn't work and you will go into debt if you spend more than you make. This might sound overly simplistic, and yet more people are in debt today than ever before. The average American has 4 credit cards in his wallet, and I know this firsthand. I used to spend more than I made, even when I was making well over 6 figures. It didn't matter because I was spending more money than I brought home. That will never get you ahead. Never. This all sounds like common sense, I know, but the problem is that common sense isn't that common these days. Bottom line, you must spend less than you make. Until you fix this part of the equation, the rest doesn't matter. First, you must realize how much money you truly need to survive, and then realize that everything beyond that is just a want, often a superfluous want. Next, let's talk about resources. I realize that your situation is different from mine, but that doesn't mean you have an excuse. It doesn't mean you can keep putting it off. It doesn't mean that you have to remain trapped in a job or situation you hate in a life without freedom. Because everyone's situation is different, I want you to have some resources to tackle your finance and debt problems. So I wrote a separate essay called Financial Freedom, 5 Difficult Steps to Get Out of Debt, Create a Simple Budget, Plan for the Future, and Regain Control of Your Finances. It includes a step-by-step plan to help you through your process. Next, my expenses. Let's talk about absolute expenses. These are simply the things I must pay to live my current lifestyle. Rent, including trash and water. Utilities, gas and electric. Car insurance, I don't have a car payment. Gasoline, for what little I do drive, I walk when I can. Food, including tips, don't be a jerk, tip well. Savings, including retirement accounts like 401k, 403b, Roth IRA, etc. Health insurance and medical expenses. Cell phone and gym membership, which are optional, of course. That's it. I didn't include totals because yours will obviously be different. So plug in the numbers for yourself, and that's what you need to live. For me, these expenses don't count money for things I want to do outside of my absolute expenses, things like concerts or movies or other events that require money. But those things are optional and I don't have to do them. If I don't have the money to do them, I don't. I can be content just sitting in a quiet room by myself. And a note about health insurance. If you want to leave your job or start your own profitable business or are already self-employed, I still recommend having some type of health insurance. Sure, some people don't have health insurance, but there are options for non-corporate people, and the most common options are as follows. Purchase a high-deductible policy. Check prices with the Freelancers Union. Compare quotes with an insurance broker. Get insurance through your spouse's employer. Move to Massachusetts or take lots of vitamins. And a note about your savings account. It is important to have an emergency fund saved that you don't touch. Rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of basic living expenses, food and shelter. Adam Baker can show you how to make money from selling your crap. That's a great way to build up some quick savings. You can check out Adam Baker's advice at manvsdebt.com. That's manvsdebt.com. To be continued. And you just listened to part 1 of the post titled Minimalist Finances and Budgeting by Joshua Fields Millburn of the Minimalists.com. If you have any comments about today's posts, maybe an author that you'd like to see us highlight here on Optimal Finance Daily, come let us know at oldpodcast.com. And real quick, like I mentioned at the top of the show, you can be entered to win a free book, Minimalism, Live a Meaningful Life, by the Minimalists, each and every month if you simply sign up for our free weekly newsletter. Now, the next book giveaway is in less than 10 days, so make sure you sign up soon. You can do that by heading over to oldpodcast.com or by texting the word financial to 44222. And that's it for our Minimalist Monday, but we will continue this post tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from amazing bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.